Uma besteira. Tratamento para cefaleia. Bora lá curar as pessoas. Vai lá aqui.
But the suffering continues.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. I'm glad to see you safe and back at the Pembroke.
And I'm glad to meet you too, mortal. I see things much more clearly since I escaped those hunters. And that includes you, Jonathan.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
My condition cannot be understood by you, mortal. This curse is beyond your science.
Ah, é tratamento de enxaqueca, eu não tenho.
I will come and check on you later. Tell me, Thelma, what do you really know about vampires?
I saw one and he saw me. I watched him hunt and kill. I saw his terrible wounds heal as his victim died. And then I knew I was saved.
You mean you actually saw a vampire? Here in London?
Yes. And it has been the answer to my pain. I must drink and kill to regenerate my decaying body. I am a vampire too.
Ficou doido.
You have no idea what problems your claim could cause if heard by the wrong people, Miss Howcroft. You must stop this nonsense, now.
Why fear the truth? Strange things live in the dark, Dr. Reed. Strange and ancient beings that were here before this island even had a name.
Tá bom.
Judging by the look in your eyes, there is something you want to ask me, Miss Howcroft.
Listen to my voice, Jonathan. You can't refuse to answer my questions. Speak now. Tell me about you and that fancy red-headed lady.
You mean Lady Ashbury? What about her?
Don't resist me. Answer now, Doctor. What's really going on between you two?
Oxe, ela conhece uma de cabelo ruivo, nem sei quem é.
There is nothing going on at all. In fact, I barely know the woman.
Now, Jonathan, I want you to forget we had this little conversation. You can get back to what you were doing.
Do you think about Thomas's death sometimes?
Every night. I did not want to kill him. I liked him. And now those hunters want me dead.
You're safe as long as you stay here.
Foi eu que matei ele, porra. A galera pensa que foi ela.
I can assure you.
These walls will not protect me, Doctor. They will never forget the crime I've done. And nor will I.
You are a patient here, Miss Howcroft. Someone with real needs who deserves peace and treatment. I will protect you.
Don't be ridiculous, Doctor. How could a mortal carry all the pain of the world on his shoulders? I should be far more cautious.
You're no murderer, trust me. Only a fool would believe otherwise.
How long before other mortals start hunting me? As always, blood is the only price for blood.
É verdade.
And what exactly have you learned about me?
You try to be a decent man, Dr. Reed. And you're trying to make a difference. That's more than most mortals I've ever met.
That's quite a statement, Miss Howcroft.
But there is more, isn't there? Your interest for my condition. Your subtle innuendos. Are we the same, Doctor?
No. I'm worse than you, Thelma. We both pretend to be something we're not. But my deceptions are far more malignant.
For once I sense real honesty in your voice, Dr. Reed. Somehow that frightens me.
Deixem claro, eu tive que falar com o pulso, meu filho.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
I wish I could be sick again. So little for my blood boil with the fever.
Vou lá falar com o cara, né? Ele quer saber de mim.
Please, Jonathan, come in.
O sangue nas testas da
Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
dádiva divina, vê mesmo.
It may seem strange, but your words have brought me some comfort here.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
There is no need to apologize, Edgar. You offered me sanctuary when I had none.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Do you need something, Jonathan?
I have just a few questions.
Then ask away. I'm at your service, Doctor.
The man we pursued and slew in the canning factory, William Bishop, I believe, was he a vampire?
He was a Skald, technically speaking. The debate rages as to their classification. Some think them a subspecies of vampire, others something else.
How do Skalds come into existence?
The name means slave. The etymology may indicate that they are a lesser species of vampire. From what I know, vampires tend to despise them.
Just for clarity, what differences are there between myself and a Skald?
A Skald is easier to eliminate, Jonathan, even if they remain formidable foes for the unprepared. Vampires... Now, vampires exist beyond the mortal realm.
Since you seem quite the expert on vampires, what could you tell me about my condition and how it came about?
As men of science, our first step is always to start with what we know. Forget the myths, the hackneyed scrawlings, and the penny dreadfuls. They do not scratch the surface of the truth you now find yourself in.
The sun. The morning following my transformation. Its rays burned me. There was pain, smoke, and my skin blackened.
You will find there is very little that can kill a vampire, my friend. You have been offered relative immortality. The sun will most certainly hurt you, leaving you weakened and damaged, but it will not destroy you.
Must I take a life to live?
You are a vampire. You feed, and blood is the sole sustenance that can sustain your immortal frame. And only a living creature contains the nourishment you require.
Since I'm the one working for you, what should I know about Pembroke Hospital?
Well, for many years, we have been the only medical facility in this part of town that people can rely on. We support the community here, as well as provide health care.
Where do we stand today?
But to be honest, we cope on a day-to-day basis. The first wave of the Spanish flu last summer took us by surprise. We lack many of the basic necessities needed.
What do you expect of me?
What we need is hope. You were a soldier. This is a war. This white coat's still a uniform. We fight to help the poor, the sick of the East End, the forgotten.
You mentioned something about a secret society. A brotherhood, if I recall. Could you elaborate?
Certainly. I've been a member of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole for several years. We are pledged to monitor and report vampire activity in England as impartial scientific observers.
Yet you don't fear me. And still, you know the monster that lurks beneath the civilized surface.
The Brotherhood has studied your kind for centuries. We believe you are as supernatural as a lion is to a gazelle.
That explains your nightly wanderings about the docks and the questions you ask.
I feel it wasn't mere coincidence that led us to that part of town. There was something as yet unseen that set those chain of events in motion.
Verdade. Eu acho só isso mesmo.
We'll see each other again soon, Edgar. Foi mal, Edgar. Vou lutear tuas coisas, mano. Good evening.
Good evening.
Have you heard talk of any blackmail here at the hospital?
No, nothing.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Sweet girl. Reads me like a book. I'm alright, never cookie, but every waste of time.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard about any blackmail going on in this hospital?
Blackmail? Nonsense.
No.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Dr. Reed, may I help you?
I'll see you later, Nurse Crane.
Deixa eu fazer as perguntas primeiro aqui pro...
Good evening.
Essa aqui é quem
evening,
chantageia?
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Hello again, Dr. Reed.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later. Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm thirsty, Doctor. I feel...
Have you heard of any blackmailing going on within these walls?
I have no time for mortal games. My secrets are beyond their comprehension, Dr. Reed.
Essa bicha é foda.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Temple. Good evening, Dr. Tippett. Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague.
Porra, ninguém sabe
We're
de nada,
here to
não.
save lives.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed will help straighten things out in Pembroke, remember? I, for one, am still waiting to see it.
Well, that's reassuring. Believe me, it gives me courage.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reed. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the eldest patient here.
Harriet Jones. Nem sei quem é, mas vamos lá.
Goodbye, Milton.
E esse aqui com certeza sabe.
Hey, Doc.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in the hospital?
Blackmail? That's not my style. Too risky. The black market, though. Now that's where the money is.
You're lucky to be alive, Mr. Cox.
This place.
Ah, é anemia, velho.
I will see you. I'll leave you.
É a vampira.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough.
Moça.
Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Chama
You seem
vampira mesmo.
surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Porra. Tá, é um prazer vê-la. Vamos lá.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
Já que a gente tá no meio deles, aí a gente tem que fazer a nossa parte de enganar, porque eu não acredito não. Mas vamos lá.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
É, o mal necessário.
Pardon my boldness, your ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Não é foda, também não é vampira, moleque. Meu Deus do céu.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, A vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
What are your expectations? Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
Aí ela quer que o cara se foda nisso. Ai.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
E é verdade.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, your ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
E a Rita tá lá dentro, é uma coroa.
These nurses, bred with no respect. What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Cala-se, meu irmão. Meter esse pra ela, ela vai ficar puta demais. Acalme-se.
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call.
Com certeza.
One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off, they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round.
Encontre a enfermeira Pipa. Encontre a enfermeira Dorothy Crane. Encontre a enfermeira Green Megan.
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
A outra só fica lá fora, vou logo pra ela. Poxa, a outra sumiu, não foi? Olha aqui.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different backgrounds, Doctor. Just like the patients.
Tell me, nurse, did you know Dr. Tippett was addicted to medication?
I suspected this behavior for some time, but never dared to ask him about it. Until the day he confessed to me.
Do you approve of his addiction?
Of course I don't approve. But I understand he needs it to fight the exhaustion. Let's hope he'll stop injecting himself once the epidemic is over.
And what if he doesn't?
Then we'll have to convince him to stop. I believe he's still in control of his addiction, for now. But we must remain vigilant.
Why would he confess to you about his addiction, Nurse Brannigan?
Don't you know you doctors can't hide anything from a nurse? We're always there, even if you don't notice us.
Do you consider yourselves our confessors, Nurse Brannigan?
I wouldn't dare, Dr. Reed. But I'm intrigued. How did you discover Dr. Tippett's secret?
What can I say? I seem to have a knack for discovering secrets.
And for hiding them as well.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Vou perguntar de novo.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Tá bom, então vamos embora.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Oxe, eu não vi pipa rock, né? Olha aqui, pipa rock.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good. I wish I could be
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Time has lost its effect on me, but the suffering continues.
Danou-se, cadê essa mulher, meu?
Good evening, Dr. Reed. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Have you heard of someone blackmailing people in the hospital?
Pardon me, sir, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Cadê ela, hein? É a mulher mais fácil. É uma das mulheres mais fáceis de achar, agora tá difícil. Ó, descer aqui. Poxa. Pera aí.
It's locked, all right.
Tem que ter um negócio. Não é aqui que eu vejo. Oxe, sumiu a véia, pô. Oxe, a coroa sumiu, velho. Não é aqui, é em alguma parte de cima que eu vou ver eles discutindo. Não, não é aqui. Oxe, cadê a véia, pô? Ah, ela tá lá no lado de fora, pô. Tá no outro lado, meu irmão. É ela que fica chantageando. Tadinha, viu? Caramba, peraí. Minha orelha tá coçando tanto. Deixa eu entrar aqui. É aqui, velho. Espionar. Aperte a letra para ativar os sentidos. Se os cidadãos estivessem se comportando de maneira suspeita, o coração deles emitirá um brilho diferente. Ao olhar para o cidadão, você desbloqueia uma interação especial. Procure Dorothy Crane.
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals. Or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
Apanha o criminoso. Tem outro cara aqui, ó, e eu não falei. Vai bolar. Só vou fazer essa e eu acho que encerro.
He's locked the door behind him. I need to find another way to follow him.
Vampiros. Já sei logo. Olha. The Blood.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
Se fodeu. Acho que o cara foi pra aqui pra dentro. Pra morrer, meu filho. Porrete. Nível 2. Um porrete de madeira grande enrolado com arame farpado para rasgar a carne e esmagar osso. Habilidade da arma: defletir. Vou por aqui. Dar uma sacada. Nossa, sabia que tinha caminhos. Vamos lá. Claustrofobia. Derrote os cães, salva um homem em pânico. Ih, saí. Acredito que eu saí. Esperar 1000 anos agora para carregar. Puta merda. Vou voltar. Pronto, voltei. De chorar, frescão. Te salvei, eu arrudei tudo pra te salvar. Primeiro lute.
Are you injured, sir?
Help me get out of here. I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay, I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
All right, Mr. Thatcher, you're safe now. Do you think you can reach the street by yourself?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do.
Círculo social também, então não posso nem matar ele, velho. 1, 2, 3. Olha, um daqui. Só vou matar esse cara depois. Ele é matável. Parece um cara morto, né? Ó, é lá, mas não vou por aqui. Eu vou pela onde eu tô vendo, porque eu quero limpar os caras todos, né? Por aqui, ó. Putz, era por ali mesmo. Quer dizer, o cara foi arrastado por aqui, né?
I can't believe I'm doing this.
É melhor que matar gente, né? Porra,
What sort of creature is this?
merda! Lobisomem, velho.
Not a lot to check, but I should anyway.
Vale da enfermeira Queen. Olha, ele tinha licantropia e ela ajudava ele. Se você estiver doente e não tiver dinheiro, seja você quem for, onde quer que esteja, venha falar com Dorothea para receber ajuda sem truques, sem custos, sem perguntas. Apenas vá até a casa de Darius Petrescu e apresente este cupom. Data Suzy em francês, beleza.
Some voucher for a free checkup in Whitechapel. What is Nurse Crane up to? I really must find her.
Acabe com as vantagens da aula. Perdi o rastro da enfermeira Dorothy Crane após ela se encontrar com um membro da gangue suspeito. Por sorte, encontrei uma dica útil no cadáver do suspeito após ele ser assassinado por scouts enfurecidos. Era algum tipo de cupom para um exame médico gratuito. O panfleto está escrito em inglês e romeno. Os donos dos vales são convidados a encontrar a casa de um Darius Petrescu e a perguntar sobre Dorothea. Será que essa Dorothea e a Dorothy Crane são a mesma pessoa? Será que ela é a autora da carta chantageando a Lady? Acho melhor ir para assim que possível e obter todas as respostas necessárias com a enfermeira. Se conseguir, encontrá-la. Porra, agora eu não sei se eu vou... Vamos lá. O hospital é aqui. Será que tem viagem rápida aqui? Não. Foda-se viagem rápida, não tem. Beleza, eu vou voltar pro hospital.
I have this thirst of blood.
O rato tá paradinho, torando aço. Pensando que eu vou matar ele, velho. Dessa vez eu vou dormir, gostoso. Não, não é aqui. É por aqui. Eu vou lá em Dorothy quando tiver um nível 10. Eita. Pensar que tinha dado uma travada. Que essa enfermeira tá tramando, né? Porque ou estão andando sozinha. Eu já fiz o que eu deveria fazer aqui. O hospital já está escasso. Deixa eu falar com ela.
How can I be sure I'll not find your unconscious body in the house again?
I promise you, you'll not find my unconscious body.
For God's sake, how can you say such a thing?
How can you refuse to listen? I tried to warn you for so long.
No, I won't let my only son die. You promised me you'll stay alive.
Your son lied to you, like the whole world lies to us.
Maltini queria tirar a própria vida. Falta mais 2.
That was fast.
I'm afraid the trail of breadcrumbs leads beyond the hospital premises. I must leave for a time.
Is that so? Why?
Now it's time for you to be patient. It would seem that your blackmailer is part of a more complex machination whose root is in Whitechapel.
Machination? Do you suspect another immortal is involved?
Nothing points to that. It would seem that the motivations are quite mundane.
Well then, I wish you discreet travels, and that the muses of diplomacy bless your tongue.
I'll return with case solved, or carried on my shield.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadigan fellow.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still...
Ele fala do Kodogan. Ah.
Goodbye.
Deixa eu dormir agora. A médica foi-se embora. Vamos ver o que eu vou. O que eu faço aqui? Tô com 1430. Esse poder da lança eu vou aumentar, velho. Eu acho. Vou aumentar o poder dele. E porra, é 2000? Eu não tenho. 2000? Aumentou? Caraca. Tá na hora de ter esses poderes. Porra. Mas vai ficar difícil a questão do meu sangue. Mordida. Pronto. Acho que tá bom. Vamos dormir que aí tem a missãozinha. Aumentei de nível, graças a Deus. Acho que agora eu tô apto, meu sangue cresceu, ó. Minha mordida. Vamos lá, deixa eu dar uma analisada. Aqui. R2. É que eu vou usar minha defesa. Beleza. Seringa que eu nunca usei. A arma. Vamos mudar a estaca, né? Essa estaca aqui. Pronto. Drene seu próprio sangue para... Esse aqui é maravilhoso. Esse aqui eu vou usar sempre. Nível 10. Como é que eu aumento esse meu nível aqui de... Eu acho que eu tenho que matar mais pessoas, né? Mexerele. Eu só conheço 2 pessoas. Não, uma que eu salvei. A outra eu ainda vou conhecer. E essa coroa aí que é o pilar. Bora lá. Tá grave a situação ali. Então tá complicado. Se tá grave é porque tá cheio de vampiro. Sempre andam juntos esses dois. Quer dizer que é aqui. Não, é aqui. Dessa vez é essa linha aqui que eu não quis cruzar. Eu acho que eu já vim aqui, ó.
Better go home, sir. Burn it, boys!
Porra.
You're mine, vermin! Shoot it!
Porra. é meu rato de laboratório. Não, aqui. Esconderijo, papito. Cofre. Preencher tudo. Ai, caramba. Poxa. Eita. Porque isso fica andando sozinho, o controle tá com um delay massa aqui. O analógico. Ó. Consegui. Não tem. Tá faltando. Eu tô usando essa faca aqui, né? Então bora aumentar ela. Ver se eu tenho como aumentar, né? Ainda tem isso. Opa, tem. Tá ótimo. Tá forte. Ai. Arma, será que eu tenho pra ela? Não tem. Eu não aumentei o meu revólver não, foi? Eu pensei que eu tinha aumentado. Eita, ai, ai. Difícil, difícil. Consegui. 56 de dano. Nível 2. Graças a Deus aumentei o nível. Só falta ter minha escopetinha. Eu não gosto de usar esses porretes, é muito lento, velho.
This is despicable.
Esses caras ressuscitaram foi de novo? Não. Só ressuscita se dormir. Não, eu não vou pra ele. Eu não vou pra esse lado. É isso aqui. É isso aqui. Aquele lado ali eu já fui.
I have this thirst for blood. This is despicable.
Tô nem aí. O rato é que se arromba, coitado.
More and more of these bloody leeches every night. Aye, but the guards recruit more and more every year. When did you join the guard? 2 days ago. This is my first patrol.
Not a good place for a stroll. Oi, you! Stop that! Shit, that leech is fast!
Me deixa o sangue, papi. Porra, você é dureza, viu? Corre, porra. Cacete. Você foi tromba, meu filho. Pra morrer. Posso dizer que você foi difícil, né? Vamos lá. Tem aqui e tem aqui. E agora? É aqui mesmo.
Whitechapel. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashbury's blackmail.
Cheguei.
First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
O Petrescu. Vamos achar o Petrescu. Eita porra! Matou a mãe dele, meu irmão. Oxe, caralho. Fuck you. Fuck you. Como eu vi essa parada, eu vou ali.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Vamos lá. Estou procurando.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
Não, esse aqui dá pra matar.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
All right. Perhaps the poor drunk just confused you with someone else.
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
This note was found on a dead man, Albert. If that doesn't change your mind, then you must be ready to face the risks.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I have a future here.
Bem sucedida. Beleza. Adeus.
Goodbye, young man.
Me? I'll not die in some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lavvy.
Meu irmão, Albert, eu vou te matar, velho. Porra, porque... É o que ele tem? Os fadiga é agora, papito.
How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right? Now piss off.
Do you need assistance?
Please. Feeling tired these days.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Do you need assistance?
I'm all right, but if you fancy giving me the medication, I can put it to good use.
Goodbye, young man.
The Wet Boots will be proud of me.
Falta pouco pra 1000, né, bebê? Eu acho que eu vou lhe matar. Eu ainda não matei mais ninguém, né, velho? Tem uma luz suspeita. Desconhecida. Oxi, Dilma? Dilma Rousseff, velho. Fazendo bico no jogo.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Eita dificuldade. 35, vamos pegar. Quanto de vida eu tenho? Codeína, eu tenho que ter isso aqui. Eita, controle, para de subir, pô. Ópio não, eu não sou drogado pra ter ópio. A mulher tá sozinha na rua, a bicha tem cunhão mesmo, viu? Tá tudo errado, não é aqui. Oxê. Achei o campanha. Tô no caminho certo aqui, ó.
Good evening, sir. Do you remember me?
If you're here for a reward, you'll be sorely disappointed. But I'll gladly shake the hand of a fellow countryman.
I'm not here for a bounty. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed from the Pembroke.
A doctor? In Whitechapel? What an opportunity. My name's Bates. Cadogan Bates.
Do you require assistance, Mr. Bates?
Not me, but your skills could help a lot of people round here. That would help my business, because I say a live tenant's a paying tenant.
Bicho é foda, viu?
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane. She's a nurse. What can you tell me about her?
Dorothy Crane, bless her soul. I really should thank her someday.
Has she treated you?
No. When I need a checkup, I'd go to a bloody doctor, not some back alley clinic full of sick foreigners.
It's unusual to see someone so happy around here, especially considering the current situation.
Why should I be sad now? There've always been wars, disease, tragedy. There always will be.
That's an unusual way of seeing things in these trying times.
I don't see why I should shed a tear for another man's woes. I'm healthy, and I intend to stay so.
What help could I possibly be to your business?
That's simple. I already get good money from all those fleeing the war. Can you imagine what they'd be willing to pay if I could offer medical assistance too?
Mr. Bates, do not make me regret saving your life in this quarantine zone.
I understand, Dr. Reed, you're from a good family. Don't want to get your hands dirty. That's fine. I'll be happy to act as your middleman.
I've no interest in money. Perhaps one night I will visit you and take what I require. If that should happen, there will be no need for a middleman.
So it's a no then. That's too bad. The Reed tonic could have really helped people, you know, save lives. Isn't that what you do? I mean, people buy that Swamborough shit.
What is your business exactly?
I offer fair lodgings for a modest price to the poor and weary of Whitechapel.
I see. And what about those who cannot pay?
Well, deals can be done, if you know what I mean. Money's not the only currency. After all, I'm not immune to a pretty face.
I don't approve of your actions, but I know very little about this borough, other than its reputation. There are always necessary evils.
A necessary evil. It's one way to think about it. Knew you had more smarts than all these immigrants.
Cara, tu tá lascado na minha mão, vou te matar, velho.
What's your honest opinion of the increasing violence in London?
People are just beginning to discover what we've always known. This city's rotten to the core. They just took their bloody time to wake up and notice it.
What do you mean?
People are acting like the violence is news. But it's always been savage down here. It just bubbles to the surface every now and again.
I'm looking for Dorothy.
Dorothy?
Tell me truthfully, why are you so thankful?
By keeping my tenants alive, she's making me a rich man. Every month they live, it's more coin in my pocket.
Da puta, eu vou te matar, meu irmão. Na moral. Tem pra onde correr mais não, meu irmão.
You seem to have recovered well since your attack. Do you ever think about what happened to you?
Not much. It was a fucking nightmare. Savages, absolute bloody savages. Their appearance. Jesus. Made me want to puke.
You'd better not come back here. I won't be around next time to save you. I want to know everything about the recent violence, Cadogan. And I want the truth.
Well, rent may be a bit high, and yeah, I've had to evict a few people. But that's business, isn't it?
Sir, I wish I had found you a few nights later than I did. Or maybe never at all. Death would have been a well-deserved punishment for your villainy.
Yeah, but you saved me, didn't you? And you do it again, because you're a decent chap. Just know I'm not.
Take this as my final warning. You will not profit from the misery of others. Business is one thing, but what you do is quite another.
Really? What you gonna do? You ain't from here. You ain't Whitechapel, Doctor. You wouldn't know the first thing about playing dirty, even if you wanted to.
Cara, resfriado. Deixa eu ver se eu tenho aqui o remédio. Tu vai morrer, meu irmão.
Since I took an oath to help people, Can I be of assistance?
Well, seen better days, that's for sure. But it was bound to happen with all these refugees about.
Porra, não tô não, pô. Remédio, não tem problema não, pô. Tu vai morrer agora, filho da puta. Se fodeu.
Was I that evil to deserve such punishment? My only regret is that no one will mourn me, for I have never been loved.
Foda-se que o distrito vai sofrer as consequências. Filho da puta tem que morrer, mano. Se eu pudesse eu cuspia agora nele, ó. Cebosa.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
Já vai dizer lá. Olha ela.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Whitechapel.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
Essas pessoas são do bem, ela tá fazendo bem, pô.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned. I must insist, sir. Please let me see Nurse Crane.
I have no time for you, sir.
Beleza. Ele é vampiro, tá? Mas é um vampiro xoxo, né? Só sobe nos que não dá. Vou subir ali, tá pra torar, meu irmão. Tá, 68. Tem um mais perto que o outro. É aqui. Ó, esses caras são tudo cebosos, mano. Vou morrer, meu irmão, na moral. Vou matar muita gente aqui nessa cidade, velho. Vai virar um caos essa cidade. Chantagem em... Encontre os moradores de Whitechapel. Encontre Richard, encontre Clayton. Beleza.
know. How long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
Welcome, sir. Please, take a browse of my wares.
I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane? So she's trying to help her fellow immigrants. Why would that make her a villain?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
How is business around here?
Business? I had no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
Joe Peterson, é isso aí que tá ali. Barrett Lewis.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
Well, you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Que ligarias e outras coisas. Nova investigação. Massa. Porra, não dá nem pra matar ele, meu irmão.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Ele é cálido demais, meu irmão.
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Oxe, o outro é mais importante que ele, aquele merda.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
You survive at any cost, even at the expense of others. Perhaps that's just the law of nature.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Barrett Willis.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson. Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay then.
Que massa, mano. Poder muito foda.
I'm Harry, by the way. Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Eu vou te roubar aqui, espera aí.
Even my dreams are soaked with glue.
Primeiros loots. Depois da conversação. Vou conversar com você agora, bebê.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Henry Peterson. Eu acho que ele é filho de Joe.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough, like... well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. It was my father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
You have a roof over your head, a place to call home. Many people here are not as lucky, you know.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Meu Deus. Poxa, o pai dele é Barrett, Lewis, e por que tem Peterson? Poxa,
your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that you joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Joe Colosso. Wow. Eu tenho mais 3 pistas, se não te matar, cara. Não tá sofrendo.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Tem gente lá em cima que eu tô ligado. Não entendo. O bairro de Lewis. Tem a nega aqui em cima.
It's locked, all right.
Poxa, eu vi que tem gente tem aqui em cima, mas beleza.
It's not my call, Baron. You pay one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake.
I prefer not to keep another fee, Baron.
The wars of men should not be your main concern. The disease upon us is not an accident of nature, but the punishment of a divine will.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reed.
Dr. Reed, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
É verdade.
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
Voltar. Não tem medo de sair.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
I must confess, some of my rational views have been shaken by recent events.
I'll remember to stay away from the district's roughest streets then.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Darby. I care about everything involving public health and this epidemic.
Are you sure you're not just concerned about the repercussions that a scandal involving a certain Nurse Crane from the Pembroke Hospital would bring?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
He has no relatives at all?
No. Except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Doido.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
Cara, não é otário não.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Vamos lá. Richard e eita pô, ele anda sozinho, pô. Olha. Pô, diz que tem a calibração. Eu vou abrir ele. Tô nem aí. E as muriçocas no meu corpo todinho. Ai. Encontra a caixa de correio, beleza. Vou falar com o padre, né? Já que tô aqui.